Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and here's some of the stories we have for you tonight. The 45th homicide in our territory, an arrest for a 2007 homicide, a St. Thomas suspect for the shooting of a 10-year-old boy, and your Caribbean report. These stories and more are coming up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, the Virgin Islands has seen the 45th homicide in our territory. It occurred around 2:30 this afternoon in the Catherine's Rest area of St. Croix, where a 28-year-old male was shot outside of a grocery store.
Police on St. Croix are investigating a homicide that occurred at about 2 p.m. Thursday, August 27th in Estate Catherine's Rest. Emergency 911 alerted police to shots being fired, and several police units responded to the area. They found a victim with multiple gunshot wounds to his body, lying motionless in the street. According to preliminary information from police, the victim was outside the supermarket when he was approached by one or more individuals who shot him. The name of the victim has not yet been released by police, pending notification of next of kin. The case is being followed up by the Major Crime Bureau. Police urge anyone having any information on this crime to call the Criminal Investigation Bureau at 712-6077, 712-6037, the Major Crime Bureau at 712-6075, or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS.
We have a follow-up on the latest murder in our territory. It's on St. Thomas, and that homicide broke the record for our territory. News Channel 8's Lee Carl files this report.
The number of homicides in the territory this year went to 43 Tuesday after a man was shot to death in St. Thomas. We had reported on this in the area near the Bernier Guest House in Contant. The official record of calls there, rapid gunfire near the guest house, and according to the police, the officers responded, discovered a man with multiple gunshot wounds to his body lying on the kitchen floor of his guest house in Estate Contant. Victim later identified as 42-year-old Hawthorne Saunders Jr. Police said he was born in New York but was a resident in St. Thomas. So Tuesday's killing is the 27th homicide in St. Thomas and the 43rd for the territory so far this year. There have been 15 murders recorded on St. Croix and 1 on St. John. Case, by the way, is being followed up by the Major Crime Bureau. Anyone with information, I'll give you those numbers in just a moment. But that same area Contant saw other gunshots fired, and one woman's body found just outside her apartment in the Contant area. Now, this is not the official police report, but our sources tell us there may be a connection to that death of the woman, not identified, to the killing of Jessie Smalls out in the Smith Bay area. It's believed she may have been one of the persons who would be used in the courts by a prosecution for a witness to a shooting death of Jessie Smalls. Again, not confirmed at this time. She worked in a small club in that general area, and we're trying to follow that information up for you. Here are some numbers you could call. 642-8449, 715-5545, and of course 911, and then TIPS, 1-800-222-TIPS, which is 8477.
In Contant, Lee Carl.
And in other news, a suspect is in custody for the murder of a woman in 2007. News Channel 8's Wes Small has more.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. Just a couple of things before I get to a St. Croix arrest on a homicide that happened in 2007. There was a raid that happened in Scion Farm yesterday at around 5 o'clock in the mill section. We understand several suspects could be in custody. We understand that a firearm was confiscated, $4,000 in cash, and some marijuana plants as well. That was a raid that happened around 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. That raid was led by Deputy Police Chief Hal. If we have any more information on that story, then we'll get it to you. Meanwhile, let's get to the arrest information. The St. Croix Detective Investigation Unit have arrested 22-year-old Leonard Wilson Jr. He's being charged with a homicide that happened on 2007, August 13th in Western Suburb. He is charged with killing Vicki Lynn Brewer Atkins from Arkansas. She was 41 years old. Her body was found by the Christiansted Cemetery. Now, I need to tell you that there is no statute of limitations when it comes to homicide and murder. So this investigation has been looked at for over 2 years. Chief Benta, you might remember in the past, was alluding to this cold case, and now suspects are in custody, at least one suspect, that is. A little more about the suspect, Leonard Wilson Jr. He is from New Jersey. He now lives in Mahogany Welcome, and again, he has been charged with that 2007 murder for the homicide of Vicki Lynn Brewer Atkins. Her body was found near the Christiansted Cemetery. She was shot in close range in her neck. If you know anything about that cold case, you should call 778-2211, 911, or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes. And police on St. Thomas have arrested a suspect for the shooting of a 10-year-old boy.
Here is a case of what goes around comes around. Police on Tuesday arrested a man on charges that he was involved in a May shooting that wounded a 10-year-old E. Benjamin Oliver student, elementary school student, when the school bus the child was riding in got caught in crossfire during a gun battle. You may remember the story as we recovered it. Fontaine, 21, of St. Thomas, arrested Tuesday, charges first-degree assault, reckless endangerment, possession of a dangerous weapon in connection with a shooting, and according to the arrest log, witness identified him as one of the shooters in the May 6th gun battle. The shootout occurred when occupants of two vehicles began exchanging gunfire in the 2-2 neighborhood down the road from the elementary school at about 3 p.m. At the same time, the school students was being dismissed, and the bus carrying 24 of them toward the Bavoni area got caught in the crossfire, struck by at least one of the bullets, pierced the back window, hit the boy in the back. The child went to die of the shooting. These were not the only crimes Fontaine is charged with this week, nor were they the only crimes he was charged with on Tuesday. Shortly after his arrest on Tuesday morning, the charges stemming from the shootout near the school, he was also arrested on charges of reckless endangerment, destruction of property, possession of a dangerous weapon, and a separate incident. According to the arrest log, he was charged with those crimes after he was observed on video surveillance, firing shots at a person, breaking the glass in someone's vehicle. Not clear where those incidents occurred or when they occurred. And on Sunday, Fontaine was taken into custody and contact on a separate charge of stemming from an armed robbery. At that time of his Sunday arrest, Fontaine was carrying a loaded firearm with a partially obliterated serial number, and according to statements released by the police Sunday, Fontaine was charged with 2 counts of first-degree robbery, possession of an unlicensed firearm, half obliterated serial number, and possessing a weapon within 1,000 feet of a school. Fontaine also arrested in March on charges of first-degree assault, reckless endangerment, and possession of a deadly weapon. The daytime chase ran from Oswald Harris Court Housing Community to Brookman Road and then left a bystander at Fort Miller shot in both legs when Fontaine pulled up to the Jungle Food and opened fire on the 3 men. Police testimony presented at Fontaine's Advice of Rights hearing in March. So, bottom line here is the disposition of those cases not clear, but Fontaine is scheduled to be advised of rights on charges on Wednesday, stemming from the Tuesday arrest. In St. Thomas, Lee Carl for News Channel 8.
That's Lee Carl reporting from St. Thomas. And when we come back from this break, we'll take a look at your Caribbean report. Stay with us on News Channel 8.